everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101. New Year's is right around the corner, believe it or not, or deny it or not. And I wanted to do a fun rock for New Year's Eve. Now, if you've followed the channel for a while, you'll know that I love dangles, and it's been a little while since I've done one. I've got my gold and silver metallic 1Ms here with me. I've also got a black 1M, and I also grabbed my PN micron for touch-ups if I need it. My black tip over time gets worn down, so I might need a little bit of help for my fine lines. Now, if you haven't watched any of my dangle tutorials before, I try to explain and give the tips and tricks each and every time that I do them. And if you have, sorry if I repeat myself. So first things first, I like to set my rock. If I don't, this isn't a flat rock. So I like to set my rock down, find out which way it's gonna sit with my finished design. How do I like it to sit? So this is the way I envision it sitting. So this will be the top of my design. Dangles have to hang from something. So for me, since this is going to be a 2019 rock, they are going to hang from a 2019. So I'm going to start off by a very light outline so I can try to space out my 2019. Now, if you're using these microns right on your rock, you want to use a light hand so you don't splatter, because you're going to hit little nicks and grooves, and it can cause it to splatter if you're pressing too hard. All right, once you've got your spacing, you're going to want your numbers to be a bit thicker. So now I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to basically add a second line to each of these to make them thicker. Like so. And you can decide if it needs to go on the inside or the outside based on your first drawing. Like if your my zero wasn't big enough, so I made it bigger, but if the outline seemed big enough, you could always make it a little smaller by doubling up the line on the inside. There we go, 2019, just like that, right? Now, we do need to start our dangles from somewhere. I always dangle them off of things. Now, since the one is pretty simple like that, I'm going to start by adding a curve so we instantly have more space for our dangles. Now, I always bring my dangle down. I always put what I consider a weight at the bottom. There's always going to be something at the bottom of your dangle. There we go. Like so, and then you can add things up the line as well. So if I want to add dots here, it's okay that that line's in between. We are going to cover that up. You can do a diamond on here. Dots work good, diamonds work good. You can do rectangles, you can do anything, flowers, any design you want. I'm going to do the same thing on my 9, except on this one I'm going to have it curl up and then out to the side once there, and maybe we'll do one more to get it even further to the side, just to take up a bit more space on our rock. There we go. And then we would have a dangle could hang from this little loop and dangle from this little loop, and we can just make this one stop right there. Okay, so we kind of make it up as we go along. You can just have them come straight off and stop right in the middle. They don't all have to go to the very bottom. You can also have it start with a dot, and you can have it split further down and add your dangle things at the bottom, like so. And we'll go fill in our lines with extra stuff here in a little bit. I'm going to have my 2 come out to the side, curl back, down, and angle. And plain one there. And plain one there. You can have your dangles connect. You can add little connector pieces to color in. I like to do that in a few places. Okay. And then go ahead, once you've got all your lines, go ahead and double up. And if you're not okay with making the circles, you can just as easily fill it in as a dot. You just want the outer edge of whatever shape you're doing to be defined in black, because we're going to fill these all in. And that's what's really going to make this twinkle and pop, is when we fill them all in. So don't worry if the inside, see you got lines on the inside. Don't worry about that. That's not going to matter. You just want the outside edge of whatever shape you're working on to show up the way that you're wanting the shape to be. Okay, now, my also big tip with dangles, you can always add more jewels or gems or whatever you want to call it to them as you go along. Sometimes I like to go in and start adding my color and then come back and add more to it after the fact. So now I've got gold and silver here. I'm just going to go in with my gold and I'm going to start filling in some of my circles. Now you just do that by just kind of dabbing it on there. I find the metallics are a little more watery, thinner. But they are so pretty and they shimmer so well. So just use a gentle hand, a gentle touch to put them on there. And that's why I also have my pan. Once they're dry, like see this one, I got over that edge of the black just a smidge. I'll be able to go back and touch it up when I'm done with that. Now with these, if you want the circle to get bigger, I tend to dab it multiple times instead of trying to draw it in a circle. So like this is a bigger circle here, I'll show you. So you just dab in the center of the circle and see it doesn't fill it up, but if you kind of dab, dab, dab in the same place, it will kind of fill with paint and spread out to the edge. So I'm just going to continue filling these in with my gold, and then I'm going to go back with the silver a little bit, and then we'll be back with you and we'll add a few more dangles. Okay, I did want to stop and show you. I was filling in a couple of my diamonds. When you're filling in the diamonds, it might be hard to get them to a point to look really clean and diamondish. Just make sure you fill them in really good. When you go back with your black and fix some of your lining, you'll be able to give them a nice crisp point. Like I'm going to show you with this one. See, I didn't quite pull this paint all the way down in there. We're going to pull it down as far as we can. I'll show you with these and kind of clean up the edges, how you can really make them still pop to have that shape. And I've got all of them filled in, and now once you have them filled in, you can go back around and find other places where you maybe want to add some decoration or other dangles. Like I kind of want to add something here on the top of this little loop area, and I wanted to add another one up here. So just go around, you can add a few more dangles and then fill them in. I'm going to just add a few more dots here and there, let them dry, and then I'm gonna fill them back in. And once everything's dry, I'll check back with you and we'll start doing our touch-ups. And you can kind of see how we can really finish everything off in a fun way. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, we added a few more little dangles. I added some fun off of some of the numbers as well. When you're done and all of the color on the interior of your dots and dangles are dry, you can come back in with a nice fine tip and clean up your lines, and it will really crisp up those shapes. So I'm going to go right in on this diamond shape I was talking about earlier. And you can really bring those to a point, which really defines the shape of that diamond. And it just evens everything out. This is a micron. This one's the PN. There's lots of different sizes you can get of these. I think this one might be my new favorite, this PN one. It's not quite that same felt tip as the rest of them, and but it doesn't get quite as small. So having the set with the small sizes is still really nice to have. But for my dangles, this tends to do pretty well. So I'm just going to kind of bob around from piece to piece, dangle to dangle, and look for areas to clean up the edges. Anywhere where the circle, the dot might have gone over the edge a little bit, you just want to have that black all the way around each of your colored pieces. So like this spot right here was supposed to be lines. And every once in a while, if I'm going over paint, that might be, I mean, it's still slightly damp. I just doodle off the tip on a piece of paper just to keep it clean. Okay. This guy is just about finished. There we go. I think, oh, I'll put her on her number 2. Got carried away up there a little bit. Just take your time and look over each little dangle one at a time. And just kind of clean them up until you like the look of your rock. And if when you're done, you decide you need to add another dangle, go for it. But I think I'm calling this one finished. So it's a fun 2019 rock. You know I love my dangles, so I had to get a new dangle one on. So I hope you all give this a try. If you do, come back, share it in the comments. Thanks for all the likes and shares and comments, everybody. I really appreciate them all. We'll see you all soon. Have fun painting. Bye-bye.